The nightmare began when he woke up in a stranger's body. In a shocking twist, no one expected him to find this hidden peephole. His eye stared back from the darkness. He saw a legendary beauty bathing. Why was she hiding alone in the middle of the night? Was she the dangerous wife he was destined to lose? In a shocking twist, each drop of water held a secret more deadly than death. In a shocking twist, unexpectedly, she felt a presence watching her from the shadows. She struck him with a sudden freezing blast. Why did she look so heartbroken after he was caught? That's when everything changed with a single, forbidden touch. No one expected that, but who was the suspicious witness listening at the door? Could he really reach the limit before time ran out? But what he didn't know was what dark power would be unleashed at 100%. He had finally completed the impossible mission, or so they thought. The story begins with a general leading his army. A majestic ancient capital stretches across the horizon. Is this truly the world from many centuries ago? But before the armor, there was a simpler life. Wu Ji finally secured the glorious championship trophy. He offered his victory to the girl of his dreams. Instead of a hug, he received a heartless rejection. A towering rival stepped forward to mock his stature. They had planned this cruel humiliation from the start. Rage and disbelief boiled within his trembling heart. His hard-earned trophy felt like a heavy, useless weight. The athlete warned that Wu Ji could never afford her. He compared the boy's efforts to a pathetic monkey show. Gossiping students watched as his reputation crumbled away. Every step through the rain felt heavier than the last. Blinding lights suddenly pierced through the dark, wet street. Metal crunched as his entire world shattered instantly. Darkness swallowed him, but a strange portal suddenly opened. Whoa! Different souls crossed paths in the vast, empty void. He blinked, seeing something soft and very unexpected. A beautiful woman welcomed him back to the living world. She prepared a bowl of medicine for her ailing husband. Suddenly, a strange system began modifying his very appearance. Whoa! She blushed, noticing he looked far more handsome than before. Does this hospital truly provide such detailed historical cosplay services? He noticed the nurse was actually a total knockout. He politely asked for her name. Suddenly, she revealed her name was the infamous Pan Jinlian. He realized he was her husband, Wu Delong. He looked around and saw ancient furniture everywhere, desperately called out for a cheat system. Suddenly, Jinlian approached with a bowl of dark medicine. Pure terror gripped his very soul. He remembered the tragic fate of the original Wu Delong. He violently slapped the bowl out of her hand. The ceramic shattered into a million tiny pieces. The beautiful woman burst into heartbreaking tears. She sobbed about how local thugs had beaten him. He realized the poisoning hadn't started yet. You! Breathed a massive sigh of relief. He watched her clean the mess with grace. He decided staying here might not be so bad. Bah! His imagination took a wild, sporty turn. He saw himself as a legendary soccer star, prepared a powerful, flaming super kick. The ball exploded forward like a burning meteor. It blasted right into a beautiful goalkeeper. He stood proud like a true champion. A sudden sound snapped him back to reality. No! He saw Jinlian crying on the floor in pain. Jinlian explained her agony was just a natural cycle. The system distorted her perception of her husband's change. A massive golden screen revealed the legendary beauty nurturing system, but the main quest demanded impossible intimacy or certain death. Our hero screamed in terror at his lack of romantic skills. Tears streamed down as he feared losing his soul forever. A lucky novice quest offered a glimmer of hope. Would he fail and shrink into a tiny garden dwarf? In the next moment, he gently led her to the bed. Jinlian looked up with hopeful eyes and a heavy heart. Luckily, he remembered his past life as an elite medical student. Blue energy swirled as he warmed his hands with power. He explained the ancient secrets of pressure points and healing. Everything rested on his touch in this critical moment. Jinlian's face relaxed as the burning torment finally faded away. She marveled at his hidden talents with a soft whisper. Guilt washed over her for judging his poor stature before. Could she truly learn to love this new, capable man? But he wasn't finished. Unleashing his ultimate hand of God, he focused every ounce of energy into his rhythmic massage. An explosion of cosmic energy surged through her entire body. Yap! She let out a cry of pure, unexpected relief and joy. He panicked, worried he had caused her even more pain. Instead, she felt a strange, pleasant itch she couldn't describe. With moments left, he pushed forward to finish his mission. Suddenly, Pan Jinlian begged him to stop. His hands glowed with pure life. Whee! Golden energy surged through her body like lightning. A massive blast of power rocked the house. Daleng smugly confirmed the medical diagnosis. He stared at his hands. Was it magic? With this system, he was finally becoming a legend. Later, our hero rested while checking his system screens. His attribute points were stacking up quite nicely. Should he choose strength or charisma first? Suddenly, a loud splash echoed from nearby. No! He poked a small hole through the wall. One eye watched. But, beyond the door, Pan Jinlian prepared her bath. Warm water flowed over her delicate, tired shoulders. Her eyes held a deep, secret sorrow. Steam filled the room. She washed away the pain of her long day. Soft droplets fell. Suddenly, a jet of water hit him. Was she truly happy in this strange, difficult world? He decided to cook her a special feast. A new quest appeared with a very weird penalty. He tightened his apron. It was time to cook. With his intelligence boosted, the master chef was born. Wu Ji revealed his secret recipe for culinary greatness. He cracked the eggs with masterfully steady hands. Suddenly, the pan hissed as golden liquid hit the heat. He tossed the wok like a seasoned professional chef. Look at that. The legendary golden fried rice was finished. His beautiful wife entered the dim room. He called out, offering her a taste of his labor. See? Every single grain was coated in rich, golden yolk. Pan Jinlian hesitated, fearing she was wasting their precious food. Wu Ji looked at her and felt a pang of guilt. He blamed the wicked Granny Wang for their past misery, but soon he promised her a future filled with riches. This would be a legitimate business, he firmly swore. With his system, making money would be total child's play. Could her spineless husband truly have changed this much? She finally believed in his strength and his bold vision. He gently seated her at the small wooden table. Open wide, he whispered with a playful, charming grin. She took a bite of the steaming, fragrant meal. Fever, the flavors began to swirl wildly inside her mouth. Suddenly, her eyes went wide with pure, unadulterated shock. An explosion of divine taste shattered her very reality. Was this really just rice? It felt like pure magic. She savored the perfect aftertaste with a soft, content sigh. Success! Favorability increased as the system rewards poured in. Dalong felt his heart racing wildly against his chest. He complained about feeling hot and feverish to his wife. Pan Jinlian looked down, her golden eyes filled with deep concern. Suddenly, he claimed his surging blood was her fault alone. Was it sickness? No, it was just her incredible beauty. His nose exploded with a massive blood fountain. He pointed a finger, claiming her presence caused the strange illness. Only she could provide the cure he desperately needed now. Woo! How could he explain modern concepts to a woman from history? Jinlian vowed to save him, her only pillar in this world. She remembered choosing this life over becoming a rich man's toy. Tell me what to do, she demanded with unwavering determination. Dalong hesitated, sweat dripping down his nervous, blushing face. Finally, he asked for a very specific and special massage. Jinlian flushed a deep red, yet she did not turn away. He pleaded, claiming her divine beauty was literally killing him. She admitted her total lack of experience in such delicate matters. The pair hurried toward the kitchen for a lesson. Suddenly, Dalong produced a massive cucumber with a mischievous grin. He began demonstrating the technique using the green vegetable. Jinlian watched closely, finally understanding the task at hand. They headed to the bedroom to begin the real treatment. Dalong stared, mesmerized by his wife's stunning, graceful figure. He had to win her heart before the villain appeared. The time for the special treatment had finally arrived. Jinlian leaned in with a nervous, blushing face. Her golden eyes widened as she stared downward. You can begin, wife, he said with a playful smirk. She gasped, wondering if that massive thing was truly his. She climbed atop him, trembling with pure hesitation. Will this massage really cure your illness, Dalong? She whispered. He replied that it would only alleviate it for now. Suddenly, her delicate fingers began to work their magic. He gripped him firmly as the tension started to rise. Dalong's face contorted as he struggled to keep control. Oh! Jinlian, I can't take this anymore, he suddenly shouted, her eyes filled with a sudden, sharp terror. She bolted away like a spirit in a panicked blur, rushed to fetch water, thinking his illness was exploding. Dalong was left alone, frustrated and looking like a mess. The next morning, sunlight bathed the prosperous Yanggu County. Our hero marveled at the bustling life of the Song dynasty. However, his main quest was stalled because Jinlian was angry. He decided to explore the city to find a business opportunity. Should he start selling traditional bread to make some capital? Suddenly, he collided with a soft force in the street. Thump! Both of them tumbled onto the ground together. He looked up into a pair of stunning green eyes. Was this an angel? She was absolutely breathtaking. The girl pleaded for forgiveness, mentioning her sister's illness. Dalong watched her leave, thinking about the Empire's future. Cruel invaders would soon turn this beauty into tragedy. Suddenly, a system notification appeared with a terrifying penalty. A high-tech medical kit dropped from the sky. The system provided the tools to ensure his medical success. Inside lay scalpels, suture kits, and advanced surgical needles. With master-tier skills, no surgery was impossible for him now. Nearby, the girl begged a doctor to save her sister. Dalong realized the symptoms sounded exactly like a burst appendix. Bo! But a greedy doctor was heartlessly shoving the girl away. No money, no treatment, the cruel man barked. The cruel man! Bart. That crooked doctor planned to exploit her for every cent. Suddenly, a mysterious woman with a terrible smell approached. The greedy doctor immediately started sucking up to the lady. Surprisingly, the lady offered to pay for the girl's sister. Dalong stepped in and grabbed the desperate girl's hand. She resisted, still wanting to find a real doctor. Does your sister have nausea and vomiting? He asked. He accurately described every stage of her sister's agonizing pain. How could he possibly know the symptoms so perfectly? What? He bet his very life on saving her dying sister. The wealthy lady watched, deeply impressed by his conviction. Could this man be a divine being sent from heaven? They arrived at the bedside of the suffering girl. He listened to her stomach. No perforation had occurred yet. He pressed firmly on the abdomen's McBurney point. Luckily, he did not feel any dangerous physical mass. He prepared for a digital rectal examination instead. The poor girl gasped as her face turned bright red. Suddenly, her sister burst in with a look of fury. "No!" He quickly explained that the procedure was strictly medical. It was necessary to confirm if the inflammation had spread, but she did not believe his excuses for a second. She swung a heavy club, aiming for his head. Tears streamed down her face as she cursed his soul. A weak voice called out from the bed. Chunmei insisted that she let the strange man finish. Her sister collapsed into her arms, weeping with total despair. They shared a heartbreaking moment of pure, helpless resignation. He reflected on how innocent women were in this era. Suddenly, the sick girl clutched her mouth in shock. She began to retch violently as the pain returned. Geez, her sister raised the club once more in a rage. Aw, she threatened to kill him if anything went wrong. He apologized for the offense and focused on his task. In the next moment, his hand moved with lightning speed. Was he close? Yes, he found the exact spot. The patient shrieked in agony as he applied heavy pressure. Her sister froze, staring at her in complete disbelief. What had he done to her beloved sibling now? Now! Barked an order to silence the weeping girl. No! She froze, clutching a wooden rod in total confusion. He produced strange, glowing artifact from his medical bag. He commanded her to hold the light steady for his work. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted as they fumbled with the tools. She gasped at the sorcery of his artificial sun. One mistake would mean total annihilation for her sister's soul. He poured every attribute point into his intelligence stat immediately. The operation was ready to begin on the silent patient. His blade descended with the precision of a master craftsman. Her eyes widened behind the mask, witnessing the bloody reality. Sweat beaded on his brow as the high-stakes procedure continued. No matter the world, he would never forget his calling. In the next moment, the cursed organ was finally removed. The assistant trembled, barely holding onto her fragile composure. Good. The surgery was entering its final delicate stage. He moved to close the wound with expert swift stitches. Victory! He cheered as the system confirmed his absolute success. Suddenly, the light fell as his assistant collapsed in shock. He rushed forward to catch her before she hit the floor. Was this sudden death? His heart hammered against his ribs. Meanwhile, a mysterious observer watched from the dark shadows. She recognized his divine art from an ancient, forbidden scroll. Her lungs had collapsed from the sheer intensity of the moment. He had to perform another miracle to save her life. He gazed at the pale, breathless girl. Suddenly, a masked woman grabbed his arm, but time was running out for the dying girl. The lady gasped as she checked for a pulse. Yo! He ordered her to hold the girl down. A legendary medical tool appeared in his hand. Yoi! He plunged the needle deep into her chest. Suddenly, the girl gasped and returned to life. Was this the long-lost divine needle technique? He smirked, asking if she still doubted him. Go! The masked lady bowed, begging for his forgiveness. He identified her as the neglected wife of his rival. Capturing her heart would solve all his money problems. He explained the science behind the miracle. She blushed, feeling a man's touch for the first time. Her heart fluttered with pure, unbridled admiration. He grabbed her hand to reveal her secret. Her eyes widened in total and utter shock. She realized he knew about her embarrassing scent. He promised to cure her ailment very quickly. Could such a miracle truly be possible? She clutched her chest, trembling with newfound hope. He pulled out the rare ingredients with a flourish. A refreshing powder would finally solve her problem. His secret method would surely change her life. Suddenly, she gasped at the sheer power of his divine technique. The system chimed as her favorability points soared higher. In the next moment, a terrifying penalty for failure was revealed. He strutted away with a heavy bag of gifted silver. Soon, he grinned, plotting to beat his rivals at their game. He walked through town with his stunning wife. Crowds gathered to stare at the beautiful lady and her husband. Jealous whispers filled the air, mocking the man's humble appearance. They approached the most expensive jewelry shop in the county, but Jinlian hesitated, worried about the staggering prices inside. He insisted that only the finest treasures were worthy. Suddenly, the shopkeeper sneered, viewing them as nothing but beggars. In the next moment, he presented a shimmering white jade bangle. The old woman's face twisted in pure disgust. "I will take it," he shouted, surprising everyone present. Was he truly gonna pay? The shopkeeper stood frozen. Silver changed hands and her scowl vanished instantly. Suddenly, he looked at his wife, remembering her many hardships. He slid the jade onto her wrist, promising fortune. And her heart fluttered as her favorability reached a critical peak. A full status panel revealed her deep loyalty. Suddenly, a new and arrogant noble blocked their path forward. In the next moment, his eyes widened at her supreme beauty. His thugs surrounded the couple with wicked intentions. The noble laughed, calling her jewelry tacky and demanding obedience. Xialing barked a sharp command to get lost, but the noble Hua bragged about his immense local power. Suddenly, Dalang recalled the complex family drama involving this fool. He realized this arrogant man was actually a walking goldmine. The thugs mocked Dalang for looking frozen with fear. Jinlian pleaded to leave, terrified of her husband getting hurt. A golden aura of raw strength exploded around him. His eyes burned with fire. The noble ordered his men to crush the defiant peasant. Ree! A massive thug lunged forward, but Delang vanished like smoke. Suddenly, a brutal kick landed right between the attacker's legs. The poor man's face twisted in agony. Another fool rushed in with a heavy, swinging fist. With a perfect dodge, Delang easily danced around the blow. He delivered a thunderous punch that shattered their spirits. Standing tall, Delang declared the work finished. Her favorability grew as her husband became a hero. Later that night, she shyly asked for a special massage. Her eyes sparkled with newfound admiration for her husband. Yay! But Delang insisted on a medical exam before the massage. She blushed, asking him to be gentle. He carefully checked for any signs of hidden illness. He pressed and squeezed with professional, yet questionable, focus. Confused, she asked what strange medical art he was practicing. He explained the symmetrical nodularity with a very serious face. He mentioned lobular hyperplasia, dismissing it as no big deal. Jinlian stared back, wondering what those strange medical words even meant, but he simply shrugged, promising to explain the details much later. He dreamed of modernizing this era's backward and primitive medicine. Lacking tools, he offered a hands-on examination to help her instead. He desperately begged for a quick treatment to soothe her discomfort. Suddenly, she gasped as he started the direct and intense exam. Nearby, old woman Wang eavesdropped, shocked by Delang's incredible hidden stamina. The atmosphere grew heavy as the treatment reached a fever pitch. Fever pitch! Their bond deepened during their very first intimate encounter. He pushed forward, knowing they were almost at the finish line. Yuk! Only a tiny bit more favorability was needed for the maximum. He whispered her name softly as the room filled with heat. Exhausted, Jinlian begged him to find other sisters to help him. Suddenly, a notification appeared as her favorability reached the maximum level. In that instant, a blinding flash of golden light filled everything. The main quest ended, granting him the legendary Overlord physique reward. New talents and powerful bonds unlocked, changing his destiny forever now. Delang smirked, realizing she was his ultimate cheat for gaining power. He held her close, promising she would always live well now. But suddenly, a loud, aggressive knocking echoed through their quiet home. Jinlian panicked, fearing an old enemy had returned for bloody revenge. She looked at him with worry, wanting to protect her husband. However, Delang refused to hide while his woman faced the danger. She watched him leave, amazed by the man he had become. The young master returned to the waiting sisters. Whoa! Suddenly, his screen flashed with a massive favorability boost. The silver-haired beauty bowed low in deep gratitude. Delang laughed heartily. Simply glad they were both safe. The atmosphere shifted as she mentioned their nudity. His soul nearly left his body from the sudden shock. The sisters bickered while the official stood there trembling. She demanded he take full responsibility through marriage. A dark shadow loomed behind the panicked man. No! Was there any way out of this romantic trap? No. His wife stepped in with a forced, sparkly smile. She argued that marriage would only soil his great reputation. Her eyes gleamed with a sharp and calculated intensity. But the sisters refused to let go of his arm. Do! They demanded to know if they should become nuns instead. Daling realized his wife's previous words were now haunting him. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through his poor, stomped foot. Madame Wu suggested they seek their parents' permission first. The room fell silent as Chunlan revealed their tragedy. Nah! Tears streamed down her face as she spoke of loss. Dalang panicked, desperately trying to comfort the weeping woman. They claimed they had nowhere else to turn but him. But him! A massive danger signal flashed over his wife's dark expression. Chunlan insisted they only cared for his sincere and kind heart. Finally, Chunmei accused the wife of being a jealous gatekeeper. Pan Jinlian stood tall and strictly enforced household rules, but the sisters knelt, begging for a simple chance to survive. Secretly, Chunmei gritted her teeth against this domineering woman. A terrifying system notification flashed before Wudalang. His wife's favorability plummeted. Would he lose everything? Seeing their plight, Jinlian finally softened her icy stance. She demanded they were to earn their keep. Daling tried to intervene, but the tension was suffocating. Tears streamed down as they accepted her harsh conditions. Poor Dalang felt his head spinning from all this drama. Suddenly he stood tall and asserted his authority as head. Was he truly the master of this chaotic house? Surprisingly, Jinlian bowed and promised to obey her man. Boom! Just like that, his favorability rating surged back up. He wondered if all ancient girls were this unpredictable. He questioned if they truly wanted to marry him. After all, he was currently just a short, poor man. A massive system quest appeared with high stakes. Maze! He needed a plan to earn 10 guans every day. He remembered his past life as a milk tea expert. With burning passion, he promised them a fortune. Oh! The girls stared back in total, stunned disbelief. Was 10 guans even possible? It seemed like a fantasy. He waved goodbye and rushed out to gather supplies. He sprinted through the market, carrying the weight of their future. He carefully prepared chewy rice balls to replace expensive pearls, crafted natural straws while the sweet mixture simmered away. Suddenly, he poured the fresh green tea into rustic bamboo tubes. A truly divine and appetizing glow filled the room. In the next moment, he offered the ladies his new creation. They leaned in close, completely captivated by his innovative culinary skills. Slowly, they took their first sips of the strange, milky brew. One lady felt like sugar sugar butterflies were dancing within her soul. The texture was unlike anything they had ever experienced before. Pure bliss washed over them as favorability points soared instantly. Could this simple drink really earn 10 guan every day? He saw their doubt and knew he had to prove them wrong. Suggested they calculate the exact cost of each cup. He listed the ingredients, which totaled exactly 19 wen per cup. The ladies gasped because ordinary tea was much cheaper than this. However, he declared the selling price would be 100 wen. They stared in total disbelief at his seemingly insane business strategy. He explained that customers were paying for dignity and ancient elegance. His unique recipe and purified sugar made the taste truly peerless. Modern marketing tactics like the celebrity effect would ensure their success. The confused ladies had never heard such strange and foreign terms. He promised to reveal his full secret in only 3 days. His playful attitude made the ladies blush with sudden, intense affection. They embraced him warmly, dreaming of a bright and wealthy future. Finally, he danced away as their legendary journey officially began. His beautiful wife worried about their crowded bed. Wu Ji arrived at the massive Examen estate gates. He planned to use a famous noble lady for business. Suddenly, he reached out and knocked on the heavy door. A cute maid appeared, questioning the stranger's sudden arrival. She quickly welcomed the handsome young doctor inside. A stunning figure on a swing caught his eye. "Oh!" Wu Ji shouted a name, thinking he recognized her. "Bao!" The maid yelled at him for being so incredibly loud. A glowing system screen revealed a massive new quest. His eyes burned with fire at the thought of rewards, but the maid urged him toward the impatient madam instead. He couldn't help but look back at the mysterious girl. She watched him leave with a silent, lingering gaze. They stood before the madam's private prayer room. A soft, elegant voice invited him to step inside. The madam sat gracefully, surrounded by sweet-smelling incense. Her beauty was truly enough to make any man's heart stop. She turned around, revealing a face of pure perfection. Wu Ji held the needle, asking her to undress completely. The madam was outraged by his bold and improper request. He promised to wear a blindfold for her absolute comfort. She worried about her reputation as a married noble woman. He moved forward to apply the dark blindfold. But wait, why did he blindfold her eyes instead? Carefully checked his system for any useful skills. He insisted the blindfold was purely for her relaxation. Madame Wu feared this went against every rule of propriety, but the doctor claimed medicine knows no gender or status. She convinced herself he was a holy, banished immortal. To secure her future, she had to endure this procedure. Suddenly, her blue outer robes fell softly to the floor. She lay waiting as steam filled the silent room. The physician brandished a needle of truly massive proportions. It sparked with the mysterious power of the blue sea. What? He raised his arm with deadly focus and precision. A flash of blue light filled the entire chamber. He struck her vital points with lightning speed. Whee! Intense energy surged through her body like a wild storm. The strange sensation traveled all the way to her feet. It hurt terribly, yet she felt an overwhelming sense of relief. A loud shout echoed from outside the door. Her husband, Xiamen Qing, was knocking at the window. He asked why she was hiding under a heavy quilt. Shaking, she lied and claimed to have a sudden fever. However, the suspicious man would not be fooled so easily. He sniffed the air, detecting a very distinct musky scent. Meanwhile, the exhausted doctor gasped for his own breath. Madame Wu froze, desperately covering her mouth in terror. He looked closer. Would their secret be exposed? Her heart raced as sharp pain struck her chest. The arrogant husband announced his sudden departure. She watched him leave, feeling more alone than ever. Boom! A sudden spark of energy exploded. She felt herself falling into a strange, radiant trance. It was as if the heavens were raining down light. Suddenly, Wu Ji pinned her down, demanding the truth. She struggled, panicked, and unsure of her fate. "Stop fighting," he commanded, gripping her wrist firmly. He warned her that her husband was a heartless snake. Tears welled up as his harsh words pierced her soul. Was she truly blind? Meanwhile, her husband was laughing at her with another woman. Wu Ji wondered if she had gone stupid from shock. He reached out, his touch changing the cold atmosphere entirely. In that moment, a system notification appeared. Her trust surged. He knew exactly how to coax a lady in this era. The memory of her husband's betrayal burned like acid. The tension melted into a moment of heat. She softened, offering to serve him a massage. "I," she whispered, her devotion finally beginning to bloom. Curtains closed as love filled the quiet room. Day! But poor Wu Ji was reaching his physical limit. Boom! Her favorability reached the maximum. He collapsed, wondering if he would survive this night. The sun rose on a new, secret alliance. Darling urged her to leave the dangerous Examen estate. They plotted to steal the corrupt officials' ledgers, but would this risky gambit lead to their downfall? He revealed she knew Kung Fu for her own protection. "Not Day!" Yuanyang begged him to delay her final cure. Suddenly, they shared a tender moment of pure trust. A mysterious system screen revealed her hidden talents. Oh! Daling vowed to build an army for the future. Soon, a new business opened its doors to the public. He carefully brewed a fragrant magical tea blend. The scent wafted through the streets, drawing a crowd. Oh! Whoa! But the locals were wary of his free samples. Was it a scam? The villagers were not convinced. The shocking price was finally revealed to all. 100 yen per cup, pure highway robbery. The crowd dispersed, leaving the stall completely empty. His companions worried they would never make a sale. Even the beautiful ladies feared this plan would fail. However, DeLange simply smiled and waited for his guest. Suddenly, a luxurious carriage stopped right before them. A delicate foot stepped out onto the dusty ground. A crowd gasped as a high-ranking lady appeared. She approached the stall and paid without a word. Whoa! Their secret plan was finally unfolding exactly as intended. Yo! Wu DeLange served his masterpiece to the first guest. The wealthy lady took a long, curious sip. Suddenly, the rich aroma hit her like a lightning bolt. Was this real? She felt like an immortal in heaven. The flavor exploded, sending her into a state of pure bliss. The watching crowd began to lose their minds. Everyone rushed forward, clutching their gold and shouting for tea. One sip was enough to make every woman glow with joy. The small shop was instantly swamped by a sea of customers. His wives cheered, seeing their bright future finally arrive. However, DeLange knew he had to keep the crowd under control. He looked out, determined to build a legendary business empire. A rude young master shoved through the excited throng. He demanded special treatment, flashing a heavy pouch of silver. Suddenly, Wu DeLange grabbed the bully's wrist with iron strength. The arrogant noble gasped, his eyes bulging in sudden shock. DeLange growled, warning him to follow the rules like everyone else. Even the powerful Madame Seaman spoke up to defend the shop. Turr! Other ladies mocked him, making the bully flush with embarrassment. He retreated into the line, fuming and plotting his revenge. But danger lurked behind his eyes as he waited his turn. Finally, he took a sip, hoping to find a reason to complain. DeLange leaned in close, whispering a very simple question. The bully's face twisted as he fought the incredible taste. Woo! He groaned, unable to deny that the tea was absolutely divine. The guest squealed, overwhelmed by the tea's bouncy texture. He moaned, finding the flavor simply too divine to resist. Everyone stared at the ridiculous scene unfolding in the shop. He bolted out the door at absolute light speed. Meanwhile, the shop counted their massive daily earnings with joy. This was clearly better than selling simple cooking cakes, but the master decided to set a strict limit. 200 cups only? Demand would surely skyrocket now. He promised they would earn 10 guan by tomorrow. His wife smiled, wanting their family to flourish even more. Suddenly, the other ladies demanded a turn with the master. They swarmed him, pulling him in 3 different directions. A silent battle for his affection finally erupted among them. He stood firm. Was one chance tonight truly enough? They skipped away, leaving him to prepare for the battle. Do! But his body warned him of a massive exhaustion level. The bedroom glowed with a mysterious, pink, and dangerous mist. Could he survive the night against 3 eager wives? Suddenly, he unleashed his secret bedroom spear technique with vigor. Jinlian dodged easily, teasing her husband the whole time. He swung again, refusing to let his stamina fail him. The intense training continued deep into the dark night. A system notification appeared as favorability points exploded. His attributes surged while the beauties fell for his charms. Outside, the storm raged while the Wu family grew stronger. The ladies decided they must move fast. Wait. Is she doing a perfect handstand? The main wife sat back with a haughty stare. Wu DeLange saw the harsh truth of their era. Suddenly, a voice called for the official to look. Look at that. A massive crowd finally gathered. They lined up for miles for a single taste. Everything was going according to plan. Boo! The secret weapon? Hunger marketing. But a jealous shadow watched from the dark. He squeezed his fist until blood began dripping. Elsewhere, a bell chimed as sickness took hold. Poor Li Pinger felt her whole body burning. Was it fever? Or something much worse? She struggled to breathe as the pain grew. Desperate, she offered a deal for a divorce. Her eyes held a deep, hidden secret. The kneeling rat plotted to steal every beauty. He begged his superior to listen closely. He spoke of a shop that was booming. Wealthy families were lining up around the block. Interesting. She wondered what would happen next. The plan? Infiltrate, steal the recipe, and destroy. She agreed, but warned him about his promise. His wicked laughter echoed as betrayal began. A confused onlooker scratched her head in disbelief. Suddenly, Wu DeLange shouted that every single cup sold out. He revealed a clever reward card for loyal customers. Boo! The satisfied crowd cheered, finally recognizing his absolute genius. He personally handed cards to the elegant Madame Li and Gongsun. His assistant recalled seeing them during the last Lantern Festival. You remembered us just from that? They gasped, utterly stunned. But nearby, Granny Wang grumbled while munching on sunflower seeds. The beautiful noblewoman departed, promising to return for more. Back inside, the girls excitedly counted their massive mountain of cash. Could the profit really be that high in just a day? Yes! They hugged tightly, celebrating their newfound and incredible wealth. Wu DeLange beamed, impressed by his assistant's sharp mental arithmetic. Suddenly, a golden system screen granted him rare recipe rewards. He even unlocked a photographic memory and human calculator skills. I'm unstoppable, he cheered, relishing his overpowered new abilities. A seductive voice whispered a very private request. She reached for his belt, wanting to learn secret bedroom techniques. Dark shadows loomed as the other girls watched with fury. We want to learn too, they cried out, demanding attention. A fierce argument erupted over who would bear his legitimate heir. The air grew heavy with tension. Was a fight brewing? His wife prepared to enforce strict family discipline on them all. Comment from the doorway froze the entire room. In the shadows, a mysterious woman watched with a treacherous plan. Suddenly, the woman wept, begging for a chance at the shop. She claimed to work fast and pleaded for his mercy. But the system revealed her true, hateful feelings immediately. Wu Delang smirked, deciding to keep his enemy very close. He ordered his wife to find the girl work. Jinlian kindly welcomed the newcomer into their busy home. Late that night, strange noises echoed through the ceiling. Li Shinner listened, her face turning a deep shade of red. Was it ever going to stop? She couldn't sleep at all. The exhausted spy tossed and turned in her lonely bed. Meanwhile, Wu Delang spent his night building favorability upstairs. He knew exactly how to win over a frustrated heart. Just as planned, his secret techniques worked like a charm. He would crush anyone who dared to steal his recipes. But first, he needed powerful allies in the local government. He arrived at the grand gates of the magistrate's office. Little Silver quickly opened the doors for the clever baker. Baker! Generosity was the only way to pave a path to power. This magistrate was known for showing mercy to his brother. The guard led him quietly through the secluded back entrance. Wu Delang bowed deeply before the powerful official sitting there. The official complained about the massive crowds at the shop, but Wu Delang promised a plan to make the county rich. He called it the legendary Yanggu special set. Tea, pastries, and stew would change their world forever. The curious official demanded a detailed explanation. Dalang highlighted the county's stagnant trade and failing taxes, but he had a clever plan ready to go. First, expensive tea would lure the wealthy merchants inside. He presented his golden, crispy walnut cookies. Suddenly, the official questioned if such simple treats would work. Whoa! He took a bite, and time seemed to stop. In his mind, a lush walnut grove suddenly bloomed. Shortening and flour danced in a delicious, heavenly harmony. Overwhelmed with joy, he begged to see the final dish, but Delang needed to borrow the official's private kitchen first. Suddenly, a stunning woman appeared with a sharp challenge. Oh! The official introduced his daughter, a culinary genius. She acknowledged his tea, but doubted his skills. Oh! Would he dare to exchange pointers with a true expert? A high-stakes system quest flashed before his eyes. Her father tried to intervene, but she stood her ground. Go! Respectfully, Dalang accepted the beautiful lady's spicy challenge. The theme was set, fish head stewed with fresh tofu. Both competitors agreed to this delicious battle of wits. Oh! They entered a kitchen cleaner than most restaurants. Her passion for the culinary arts earned her his respect. Nevertheless, he was destined to be the true winner. The ultimate cooking duel begins right now. She grabbed the fish, starting the competition with expert precision. She added ginger and rice wine to mask the odor. She sneered, convinced that shopkeeper Wu was destined to lose. But Wu simply watched her efforts with a knowing smirk. Oh! He began his own method using light salt water. Look, the fishy blood and mucus seeped out instantly. Gong Sun-wan gasped as her rival's physical removal technique worked. Suddenly, he poured essence juice to penetrate the meat deeply. He even pulled out a jug of cheap, unfiltered wine. Bah! Did she really think her secret pepper went unnoticed? What? Now, he used chemistry to double the fragrance with perilla. This triple combo hit her like a powerful physical explosion. Dogai! Wu tossed a block of lard into the hot pot. He carefully wiped the fish head until it was bone dry. Gong Sun-wan screamed that he was recklessly wasting natural resources. He just smiled, promising to turn the rotten into miraculous. The dried fish head sizzled as it touched the hot fat. Her favorability plummeted, yet Wu remained completely unfazed. Even the official doubted his strange choice of using lard. What? Was it over? No, the true miracle was just beginning. He poured boiling water over the golden fried fish head. In an instant, the broth turned as white as milk. Gong Sun-wan trembled, her pride shattering into a million pieces. He stood like a giant atop a mountain of culinary genius. The rich aroma pulled her into a world of pure flavor. She was completely swallowed by the soup's incredible, milky depths. Her slender legs kicked through the shimmering, pale white liquid. Eee! The giant fish head was carefully moved to the pot. Young Wu Delang dropped soft cubes of tofu into the brew. Duh! Suddenly, a shower of fine salt seasoned the boiling fish head. He firmly sealed the lid to trap every ounce of flavor. Meanwhile, Wanner refused to be misled by his strange kitchen tricks. The pot began to bubble and hiss with an intense energy. Suddenly, a domineering aroma exploded throughout the entire restaurant kitchen. She realized his bizarre steps went completely against common sense. Our hero shouted that his masterpiece was finally finished. Bah! The soup glowed like a radiant, milky treasure beneath the lid. Not to be outdone, Wanner presented her own classic creation. The stern judge sat ready to choose a definitive winner. Winner! He tasted her soup first and praised its perfect, ancient elegance. The judge lifted a spoon toward Wu Delang's mystery bowl. His eyes widened as a bolt of pure flavor struck him. Suddenly, he felt like a joyful fish swimming in a pond. Tears of pure ecstasy streamed down the old man's face. He declared that these were the skills of a literal god. Wanner could not believe her father would praise him so highly. She took a desperate sip to taste the truth for herself. In the next moment, her mind drifted into a milky paradise. The silky broth splashed against her skin like a warm embrace. It was too powerful for her poor senses to even withstand. She finally admitted defeat as the rich soup conquered her soul. She bowed low, completely humbled by his culinary mastery. Wu explained the secret was not magic, just kitchen science. The complex terms left her dazed yet deeply impressed. Suddenly, her admiration spiked, unlocking a massive boost in favor. decipher. The magistrate admitted his own embarrassing lack of knowledge. They shifted focus toward a brand new business strategy. Wu proposed a government-licensed institute for master chefs. The magistrate wondered how this would truly enrich his lands. Wu envisioned a bustling street filled with savory aromas. He even suggested ridiculous myths about fish receiving massages. Marketing is everything, and the magistrate loved the audacity. This grand vision promised to revitalize the entire local industry. Overjoyed, the official officially backed the ambitious project. They hammered out a deal to split the massive profits. The magistrate greedily demanded the lion's share of gold. Wu agreed, keeping his eyes on a much larger prize. His true goal was military power and national salvation. Frantic footsteps echoed through the quiet hall. Disaster struck as a trusted worker vanished with the secrets. The beautiful trader had opened a rival shop right across. Wu watched as his plans faced a sudden, spicy challenge. A massive crowd gathered, lured by low prices and skin. Scantily clad servers poured tea while the commoners stared wide-eyed. The competition used every trick to steal his loyal customers. Yet, Wu only smiled, knowing exactly how to strike back. The villagers cheered while tasting the delicious new brew. Li Pinger flaunted her top-quality fermented rice wine, but Wu realized she had stolen and improved his secret recipe. Suddenly, he acknowledged her dangerous talent for marketing tactics. "Yo!" a voice called out from a very distracting view. Li Pinger mocked Wu for his deserted tea shop. Wu stood alone while his wife fumed in the background. Jinlian screamed, calling the rival a shameless recipe thief, but the rival claimed ownership of the floral milk tea flavors. Suddenly, she challenged Wu to a high-stakes tea soup duel. If he loses, he must surrender his shop and livelihood forever. Jinlian protested loudly, refusing to let him risk everything. "Why, just don't worry," Wu whispered with total confidence. He asked what she would sacrifice if she lost. She offered her own shop plus 1,000 glittering TLs. Wu demanded 50 squats and a public apology. He vividly imagined her struggling through the squats in shame. "Fine," she snapped, her face turning bright red with fury. She declared the duel would happen at Lion Tower, but she secretly bought every ingredient in town to ensure victory. Suddenly, a shadowy figure plotted a nasty surprise for tonight. The moon rose over the quiet, sleeping city. Wu decided to invent a modern cheese foam tea. He used slippery yam mucus to stabilize his unique creation. Finally, he blended tea and soul to create the perfect drink. He triggered brute force to reach an extraordinary physique. Used modern knowledge to churn the ultimate butter. He shook that bottle like his life depended on it. Faster and faster he went, ignoring the burning in his muscles. His strength exploded into a legendary new tier. Still, a hidden spy lurked within the dark shadows nearby.